So next we are going to see development of male gametophyte. A pollen grain marks the beginning of the male gametophyte and it undergoes the first mitotic division to produce the bigger naked vegetative cell and the small thin walled generative cell. So if you observe that pollen grain, it's said to possess 4 cells containing 1 nuclei each, which undergoes meiosis and it results into formation of a tetrad. So what is tetrad? A tetrad is again the same cell, but the nucleus is now turns into formation of a 4 cell. So that tetrad so formed then undergoes, there is a formation of microspore. Okay, so how that spore form? So that each tetrad it develops into microspore and ultimately it results into formation of a free microspore. So if you observe the fourth diagram, it shows a free microspore. So pollen grain marks the beginning of the male gametophyte and it undergoes first mitotic division. So it results into formation of a bigger naked vegetative cell and thin walled generative cell. So if you observe the diagram, that whatever cell consists of the vegetative cell and the small cell that is so called as a generative cell. Okay, so on first mitotic division, if you observe fifth diagram, it shows male gametophyte clearly. So there is outermost covering which is so called exine. Then next to that there is in a one more covering which is called entine, and inside that there is a small thin walled cell which is so called as a generative cell, and there is a bigger naked vegetative cell which is so called as a bigger cell which is so called as vegetative cell, and that vegetative cell is said to possess vegetative nucleus. So vegetative cell, it is rich in food and having irregular shaped nucleus. The generative cell floats into the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. So if you observe that generative cell is there inside the cytoplasm. Okay, so the second mitotic division takes place. So whatever that male gametophyte so form, it undergoes second mitotic division. So if you observe the sixth diagram and the fifth diagram, in between them on a arrow we have written mitosis. So that is the second mitotic division, and it is only concerned with the generative cell, and that's why it results into formation of a two non-motile male gametes. So if you observe the last diagram, sixth one, it shows you two sperm cell, that is generative nuclei, which are somewhat yellow colored, and next to that there is a vegetative cell as it is, and there is a pollen tube which comes out through that anther. So the mitotic division, okay, of that generative cell takes place either in a pollen grain or in the pollen tube. So if you observe that sperm formation either takes place in an anther or in the pollen tube, the pollen grains are shed from the anther, and at this two-celled stage in most of the angiosperms. So this is something about the male gametophyte, and the female reproductive whorl of that flower which is so called as gynoecium. Okay, see the female reproductive whorl of that flower, it is so called as gynoecium, which is also called pistil. Okay, so the individual member of gynoecium is called carpel, that is also called as megasporophyll. And if you observe the first diagram or first picture, it is of Michelia flower, and those carpels are free, and therefore it is called as apocarpus. So a flower with many free carpels is called as apocarpus. The example I have shown you as far as the picture is concerned, it's of Michelia. See, if you observe that flower of a Michelia, those what we can say carpel or megasporophyll, they are free, and therefore it is so called as apocarpus. A syncarpus flower is the one that has many carpels fused together. So if you observe brinjal flower, it's somewhat said to possess those carpels which are fused together. So we can't identify which is the free carpel present over there, as all the carpels they are fused together, and therefore that flower is so called as syncarpus flower, and therefore we have taken the example of brinjal flower. Then the typical carpel has three parts, viz. Ovary, style and stigma, and the number of ovules in the ovary varies. For example, in paddy, that is for example in rice, in wheat or in mango, those ovules are multi-ovulate. मतलब उसमें एक ही सीड दिखता है, those all of them they are multi ovulate, whereas tomato or lady's finger, all of them they said to possess, they are so called as multi ovulate because so many seeds are present outside, so many seeds are present inside as far as tomato and lady's finger is concerned. So these are said to be multi ovulate, and paddy, wheat and mango they are said to be uni ovulate. So this is something about the development of male gametophyte. Now we will start next with the structure of anatropous ovule, what it is exactly, why it is said to be anatropous, that we will see in some more detail. So next is structure of anatropous ovule. Okay, so completely inverted ovule turn back 180 degrees. So if you observe the diagram, it's a green color diagram where whatever that ovule structure is there, it's completely inverted. Okay, 180 degrees, and that's why it is so called as anatropous ovule. So each ovule develops inside the ovary and is attached to the placenta by a small stalk which is so called as funiculus. So if you observe at the downside there is a filament, onto that ovule is placed. Okay, so that filament like structure, it is so called as, or that stand like structure is called as a stalk. That small stalk is called as funiculus. The place of attachment of a funiculus with the main body of ovule is called hilum. Okay, so the next to that funiculus there is a hilum shown. Hilum is what? It's the place where the attachment of that main body to the ovule is to the funiculus is takes place. So that point is called as hilum. In angiosperm, the most of the common type of ovule is anatropous, in which micropyle is directed downward and is present adjacent to the funiculus. So if you observe the diagram downside, whatever the pores like structure present at the downside which is next to funiculus, see, that is so called as micropyle. Okay, so since micropyle, it is directed downward and it is present adjacent to the funiculus. Then the ovule consists of the parenchymatous tissue. Okay, the ovule consists of the parenchymatous tissue, the nucellus, which is surrounded usually by the two protective coverings which are called integuments, the outer integument and the inner integument. So whatever that parenchymatous tissue is there, okay, so that parenchymatous tissue, the centralized part, it is covered by two coverings, the outermost, that is outer integument, and next one, that is inner integument. So if you observe the diagram upside, there is a shown integuments part, that is two covering, inner and outer side. The narrow opening at the apex of the ovule is called micropyle. So at the downside, micropyle is shown, which is somewhat pore-like structure. And chalazal, it's a base of ovule directed opposite to micropyle. So exactly opposite to that of micropyle, the base of the ovule is present, which is so called as chalaza. Then next to that, in between them, inside that central part, parenchymatous tissue, there is an embryo sac, it's shown. Okay, so that embryo sac is nothing but female gametophyte. It's oval in nature, or it's somewhat multicellular structure which is embedded in the nucleus. Okay, so this is an embryo sac which is embedded in the nucellus, and it's somewhat multicellular structure. So this is somewhat about the structure of anatropous ovule. This all points you are supposed to write along with the diagram. Okay, next we will see is megasporogenesis. So the process of formation of a haploid megaspore from the diploid megaspore mother cell, that is MMC, that process is so called as megasporogenesis. So megaspore mother cell becomes distinguished in the nucellus, more or less in the center, but towards the micropylar end of the ovule. So if you observe, see, if you observe the embryo sac, there are cells shown upside and downside as well as at the middle. Okay, so the process of formation of a haploid megaspore from that diploid megaspore mother cell, that process is so called as megasporogenesis, and megaspore mother cell becomes distinguished in the nucellus, more or less in the center, but towards the micropylar end of the ovule. So now we will see how that female gametophyte development takes place. Megaspore mother cell, that is MMC, undergoes meiosis. Okay, so let's see that meiosis part. So whatever that yes, megaspore mother cell undergoes meiosis, that is one cell, that is a mother, that get divides to produce two new cells. Okay, so if you observe the diagram, there is a green colored cell shown. This is called megaspore mother cell, which is a diploid. Okay, this is allowed to undergo meiosis. So it undergoes meiosis and it results into formation of four haploid megaspores. So that one cell turns into formation of four haploid megaspore after meiosis. So it turns into four haploid megaspores. So that is the daughters that are genetically identical to itself to form linear tetrad of the haploid cells, that is so called as megaspores. Upper three megaspores abort and lowest one towards the center of the nucleus remains functional. So if you observe, see downside haploid megaspore, it remains as it is, and the upside three, they are shown by the just curved line. Okay, so what it indicates, there is written degenerated cell. Okay, so for third stage you will write the upper three megaspore abort and lowest one towards the center of the nucleus remains functional. Okay, this point we have written over here. See, upper three megaspore, second point, abort, and the lowest one towards the center of the nucleus remains functional. So that is the second step. Okay, where see the upside three megaspores are there. They are shown by the curved line. These are degenerated stale. They undergoes abortion, whereas the downside that remains only functional. Therefore, it is written as megaspore or embryo sac, which is a haploid. Okay, what is third point? It acts as a first cell of the female gametophyte. That is, a downside cell acts as a female gametophyte. First cell of the female gametophyte. Generally, one megaspore towards the center is functional megaspore. It is in fact the first cell of the female gametophyte. So then that megaspore undergoes growing. It is nourished by the nucellus, and then it move towards the micropylar end. Okay, so where it undergoes three successive mitotic division. Okay, उधर लिखा है. So that single cell, it turns into formation of a three mitotic successive division. How? Mitosis first, mitosis second, and mitosis third. The first mitosis में क्या होगा? That whatever single nucleus is there, that gets divided. Okay, and it turns into two nucleus. Now that two nucleus undergoes further division and it turns into four nuclei. Okay, so four nuclei, and therefore, and that four nuclei again undergoes third mitotic division and it turns into 8 nuclei total. Okay, therefore it has been written, the first point, it undergoes a three successive free nuclear mitotic division. Thus total 8 nuclei are formed, 4 of which are located at each pole. So if you observe, see that last whatever structure is there after third mitotic division, upside there are 3 antipodal cells, downside there are synergids. Okay, and if you observe for that whatever points, there are total 8 red points indicating 8 nuclei. Okay, next, one nucleus from each pole migrates toward the center and they are so called as polar nuclei. So it's see, upside there are 4, downside there are 4. Out of that 4, one nuclei move towards the center. Okay, so one nucleus from each pole migrates toward the center, and that nucleus at the center, it is so called as polar nuclei. So therefore in the diagram it has been shown the polar nuclei by the red dots. Okay, 3 nuclei towards the micropylar end constitute egg apparatus. So जो micropylar end towards है 3 nuclei, that results into formation of a egg apparatus. It consists of a large central haploid egg cell and 2 supporting haploid synergid cells. So नीचे दिखाया देखो 2 synergid cells दिखाए हैं और बीच में एक है, that is so called as female gamete. Okay, so the 3 nuclei, third point देखो, 3 nuclei towards the micropylar end constitute egg apparatus. उसमें क्या क्या रहेगा? उसमें 2 synergid cells रहेंगे. If you observe the stage after third mitosis, okay, तो उसमें 2 synergids है and one is there, that is a egg female gamete. Okay. Next is synergid cell shows hair-like projection called filiform apparatus which guide the pollen tube towards the egg. So जो synergid cells है, okay, the downside to synergid cells, that will shows you hair-like projection which is so called filiform apparatus, okay, which guide the pollen tube towards the egg. The antipodal cells, जो ऊपर के cells है तीन, antipodal cells are a group of 3 cells present at the chalazal end. So upside of chalazal end है, these are so called as antipodal cells. The two haploid polar nuclei of large central cell fuse together to form a diploid secondary nucleus or a definite nucleus just prior to the fertilization. और बीच में जो दो polar nuclei है, that fuses together and it form a diploid secondary nucleus or a definitive nucleus. This 7-celled, जो last का देखो, last का diagram, this 7-celled and 8 nucleated structure is called embryo sac. तो उसमें nucleus कितने हैं? 8 and cells are 7 and this is overall structure, it is called embryo sac, and therefore last के diagram में दिखाया है mature embryo sac which is called as female gametophyte. Just before the fertilization, 7 nuclei are present, 6 are haploid and 1 is diploid. And therefore, the last point देखो, the 7-celled and 8 nucleated structure is called as embryo sac. Okay. This method of embryo sac development from a single megaspore is called as monosporic development because एक ही spore से develop हो रहा है, that's why so called as monosporic development. In angiosperms, the development of female gametophyte is endosporous. Why? Because it is within the megaspore, therefore it is called endosporous. Female gametophyte is colorless, endosporic, and is concealed in the ovule enclosed by ovary. So female gametophyte, it's somewhat colorless, less in nature, endosporic, and is concealed in the ovule enclosed by ovary. Okay. It undergoes 3 successive free nuclear mitotic division. Total 8 nuclei form, 4 of which are located at each pole. One nucleus from each pole migrates toward the center. 3 nuclei towards the micropylar end constitute A. It consists of central haploid egg part. Yeah, this is somewhat this part is repeated. Okay, so up till now, yeah, this slide is repeated. Next we will start with pollination. So this ends towards the it ends towards the enclosed by ovary. Okay, up to this. Female gametophyte is a colorless endosporic and is concealed in the ovule enclosed by ovary. Okay. Next we will start with pollination. Pollination is what? Pollen grains become motile and angiosperms have evolved the strategy to use abiotic agent. मतलब pollination कभी wind से होगा या water से होगा, नहीं तो कभी biotic agents will be used, birds, insects, snails, to their flowers, feeding the visitors and exploiting their mobility for pollination and also the seed disposal. So pollen grains are non-motile and they are usually carried from flower to flower by means of external agents. Pollination is a transfer of pollen grains from another to the stigma of flower, from anther to the stigma of flower. So this is the first point you are supposed to write in pollination. It is a prerequisite for fertilization because both the male and female gametes are non-motile. Moreover, gametes are produced at different sites. Self-pollination is a type of pollination which occurs in a single flower or 2 flowers on a single plant. तो एक तो सेम प्लांट रहेगा, ओके, उसमें 2 फ्लावर्स रहेंगे, तो दोनों के बीच में अगर हो रहा है पॉलिनेशन, सो दैट इज सो कॉल्ड सेल्फ पॉलिनेशन, और सिंगल फ्लावर में ही हो रहा है पॉलिनेशन, so that is so called as self pollination. Okay, इट रिजल्ट्स इन इनब्रीडिंग और सेल्फिंग. सो खुद का खुद होगा, देयरफॉर सेल्फिंग. नहीं तो एक ही प्लांट में दो फ्लावर रहेंगे, दैट इज कॉल्ड इनब्रीडिंग. In contrast, cross pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower of a different plants of same species. तो क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन में क्या होगा, स्पेसीज सेम है, डिफरेंट प्लांट्स ऑफ सेम स्पेसीज, स्पेसीज सेम है लेकिन प्लांट अलग है. तो एक फ्लावर का जो पोलन ग्रेन है दैट विल गोज टू द स्टिग्मा ऑफ अनदर फ्लावर. So that is so called as cross pollination. So pollination can be further divided into three types on basis of source of pollination. So source of pollination के basis पे there are three types. One is called as autogamy, that is so called self pollination. तो उसमें क्या है, so it is a type of pollination in which bisexual flower is pollinated by its own pollen grains. Autogamy है, self pollination है, it has to be, the name itself indicates that both male and female organs, reproductive organs should be on a same flower. Okay, and that's why it is written it is a bisexual flower. Okay. Okay. So a type of pollination in which bisexual flower is pollinated by its own pollen grains, then that is called autogamy or self-pollination. So offsprings are genetically identical to their parents. तो जैसे पेरेंट्स रहेंगे वैसे ही ऑफस्प्रिंग्स रहेंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल पी. सो इन द डायग्राम इट हैज बीन शोन दैट देयर इज अ सेल्फ पॉलिनेशन, पोलन ग्रेन्स आर देयर एंड देयर इज अ पिस्टिल ऑन द सेम फ्लावर. ओके, तो पोलन ग्रेन्स रहेंगे. ओके, तो दैट पोलन ग्रेन्स और दैट पोलन्स विल कम आउट and get deposit onto the pistil of the same flower, right? So pollen comes or loses from that stamens and that get deposit onto the pistil of the same flower, and therefore plant fertilizes its own egg. Then next type, that is geitonogamy, the transfer of pollen grain to the stigma of a different flower produced on the same plant. तो एक तो plant same रहेगा लेकिन two different flowers will be there. So transfer of pollen grains to the stigma of a different flower is produced on the same plant. Functionally similar to the cross pollination. Cross pollination जैसा ही है, लेकिन cross pollination में दो plants होते हैं same species के. यहाँ पे दो flower है लेकिन एक ही plant पे है. As it involves pollinating agent, but it cannot brings about genetic variation as is only of ecological significance. For example, Cucurbita maxima. It is similar to autogamy as the pollen grains comes out from the same plant. Okay, so this is geitonogamy. It's a if you observe the diagram, see geitonogamy, एक ही प्लांट है, उसके ऊपर अपसाइड देखो, राइट साइड वाला डायग्राम देखो, वहाँ पे दो फ्लावर्स है और इधर लिखा है गeitonogamy pollination, ऐसा ग्रीन कलर में लिखा है. इसका मतलब क्या कि देयर विल बी वन प्लांट बट टू डिफरेंट फ्लावर्स आर देयर and the pollination takes place in between them. That is, pollen grains from the stamen of one flower get deposited to the pistil of the second flower. Okay, दिखा है एरो से कहाँ पे आ रहे. That is so called as geitonogamy. So it is a type of, अभी लेफ्ट हैंड साइड वाला डायग्राम देखो, it is a type of pollination in which pollen grains of one flower are transferred to the stigma of another flower belonging to either the same plant or genetically similar plant. In geitonogamy, the flowers are often show modifications similar to the ones that is found in xenogamy or cross pollination. Okay, so that is nothing but geitonogamy. तो उसमें क्या, two different flowers of the same plant. So that is somewhat refers to geitonogamy. Self pollination देखो, जहाँ पे pollen grains from the same plant, from the same flower get deposited to the pistil of that flower, and cross pollination में plant ही अलग है. Okay, yeah, flowers are different and the pollen grains from one flower get deposited to the pistil of the another flower, that is so called as cross pollination. Okay, so xenogamy, that is a cross pollination or outbreeding. Okay, so what is that? That we will see in somewhat detail. Type of cross pollination, when the pollen grain of a one flower is deposited on the stigma of the flower of different plant belonging to the same species with the help of pollinating agent. So यहाँ पे पोलन ग्रेन एक प्लांट से दूसरे प्लांट के फ्लावर है उसमें नहीं जा सकता, दैट नीड्स pollinating agent, and therefore it has been written with the help of pollinating agency. So it generates genetically varied offsprings. Majority of the flowering plants depend on the transfer of pollen grains. Virtually all seed plants need to be pollinated. Most of the food and fiber crop grown throughout the world depend upon the pollinators for the reproduction. So if you observe the diagram, see, two different flowers are present. Flower of a different plants are there, but both of them belong to the same species. Okay, एक ही species के है लेकिन दो अलग plant पे है. Okay, तो there are bees. Okay, they are carrying their pollens. So pollen grains. So pollen from stamen stick to the bee as it visit flower to collect food. Okay, honey collect करने के लिए जब भी bees will get closer towards the that stamen, pollen grains get stick to that bee, and that whatever bees when so that bee travels to the another plant of the same type, and pollen on the bee sticks to the pistil of a flower of the another plant. So that is so called as somewhat xenogamy or the cross pollination. So the type of cross pollination when pollen grain of one flower is deposited on the stigma of a flower of different plant belonging to same species with the help of pollinating agency. So it generates genetically varied offsprings. Majority of the flowering plants depend on transfer of pollen grains. Virtually all seed plants need to be pollinated, and most of the foods and fiber crops grown throughout the world depend upon the pollinators for reproduction. Okay, so this is somewhat for xenogamy or cross-pollination. Then the agents responsible for pollination have been grouped into two main categories, which is so called as biotic and abiotic agents. So that we will see in somewhat next lecture. So this is up till something about the types of pollination. We have seen autogamy, we have seen geitonogamy, and the last one is xenogamy. Thank you.